This has been a difficult video to film. Actually, it's been a really difficult video to even think about because this topic has been like a lead weight hanging over me for years. I didn't realise how much this decision was affecting me until I actually did it. I quit Instagram as an artist, and here's why. On the surface, this list might seem like all the others out there on this topic, but please stick with me because I've learned that Instagram can be way more damaging to creative businesses than you think. Now, before we get into it, here's the truth. I quit Instagram, but I haven't deleted my account. If you go to Instagram and search for the Butterfly and Toadstool, then you will see my profile. But by quitting, I mean I've signed out from all my devices, I've deleted the app off my phone, I don't have easy access to it, I won't be checking it, and I will no longer be posting to it. And this is because although I don't want to have Instagram, I don't want anyone else to take and use my Instagram handle, because that's my business name. Plus, I've got loads of pretty pictures on there. So for now, I'm keeping it in the background, but I will no longer be using Instagram. But first, if you're new here, then welcome. My name's Dee and I'm a watercolour artist and surface pattern designer who loves to share the ins and outs of my creative business through videos like this one here on YouTube. Now, let's get back to it. Number one is, it made me feel awful. Now, the main point of Instagram being created initially has changed so much from when it was made. It was meant to be an image sharing platform, but instead it's become the easiest way to compare yourself to others and to be judged. It's become one of the biggest distractions, the easiest way to feel overwhelmed, and one of the biggest wastes of time. This is no secret, but the Instagram algorithm sucks. It only seems to favour content creating robots that pump out new magazine-worthy content every single day, not to mention the epic cinematic quality reels, stories and IGTV that you need to produce if you've got any chance of being seen on the platform. It means that for us mere mortals who actually have a business to run and that like to have a life, not sticking to this rigid content creating wheel means that we simply just slip away into the abyss. And anything that we do produce doesn't get seen by those who have chosen to follow us. And this was my biggest bugbear of them all. This, coupled by the increasing amount of ads and random accounts that I had no interest in being shown on my feed, made me want to be on the app less and less. Now, I know I'm sadly not alone with feeling this way, and I'm sure if you've clicked on this video, it's probably because you've been finding some of the same issues with Instagram too. It seems to have gone away from being a user-friendly and helpful place and instead wound up being a very negative and sometimes even toxic place. But my biggest reason for leaving Instagram as an artist is that it was actually stopping me from getting work. Now, I need to back up a bit here and explain a little bit more about this and how all of the algorithm changes over the years affect aged accounts. Now, I've been self-employed for over 7 years, but I've actually had my business, or the idea of my business, for over 12 years. And it was around 12 years ago that I opened my very first Instagram account. And it's this account that I've kept as my business account for all of that time. Now, although I didn't have a running business all that time, and I obviously didn't have products to share all that time, I did keep the same account. So this account has changed its purpose and its focus quite a lot over that time. Knowing what I know now, if I was to do it all over again and rejoin Instagram, I would have started a new account when I properly started my business, as I do think this might have helped. But let's not dwell on the past, let's look at what actually happened. Now, over the years, every time I made a change to my business, I reflected this change on Instagram with the type of content I was producing, the different hashtags I was using, and of course the different accounts that I was interacting with. And this stalled my account each time a change was made, as the algorithm took time figuring out what niche I was in or what the changes meant. Now, if you've looked at my Instagram account, you're probably like, 12 years? What a flop. And on the surface, you're totally right. I've got a tiny following for the amount of time and the amount of effort that I was putting in. And that's exactly what Instagram thinks too. So even though I've been consistent with my business and made an effort to produce content for my Instagram account over the past few years that my business has been solid, Instagram basically ghosted me and stopped showing any of my posts to new people. Not even my family members who follow me saw any of them. Now this didn't bother me, and I didn't even think about it until recently because I understood why it was happening. Each business change I made would result in a slightly different customer group, so the old one would fall away as I gained new ones, and on it went. But the customers that did religiously follow me still saw most of my posts, so we had a small but lovely community over there, and I would post for them. I would much rather spend my time pleasing my customers than trying to please an algorithm. Now, it's very clear from my follower count that I've never gone viral on Instagram, and I've never had a boost from a celebrity customer buying one of my products or anything like that. So I could never really shake this restraint that Instagram had on my account. They just don't see my content as important or sought after enough to push it in front of more people. And I get that. The whole point of the algorithm is that. But it's not human, and it does get it wrong, and it's not quick to change and adapt. Now, whether or not an algorithm likes you shouldn't be used to gauge how good or bad you are. But that's exactly what's happening. Now, why am I telling you all of this? Well, let's get back to my main point about how Instagram is stopping me from getting work. And this also ties into number 4 on my list, which is people's perceptions. If you've got a big following, then you're popular, right? Wrong. We've been talking about gaining followers by pleasing an algorithm, but don't forget that some people have gained followers simply by buying them. Companies do it all the time. An old business that no longer operates that had a large following can simply sell their old account to another business. That new business changes the name on the account and bingo, they instantly have followers. Other people will choose to pay for followers that aren't even real people. They're fake bot accounts that give you no interaction, no real custom, but they do give you numbers. So again, numbers shouldn't be used to gauge how good or bad something is because they might be faked, and in fact they're quite easily faked, especially on Instagram. Businesses are always evolving, and this is especially true for creative businesses. And so, as always, I've been working away at some new ideas and business ventures in the background, one of which is art licensing. Now, art licensing, if you don't know, is where artists sell their repeating patterns or placement designs to other companies for use on that company's own products. For example, if Baby Boden wanted to use my Marine World pattern for their kids' rainwear, then they would pay me for my artwork and then they would make the jackets for sale in their shops. Hit me up, Boden, if you're interested. I would love to work with you. So it's taken me quite some time to feel ready to put it out there. I actually think this is maybe the first time I've mentioned it on my YouTube channel. So there you go, there's some insider news for you. Now, why has this got anything to do with me leaving Instagram? Well, it's because recently I've been turned down by licensing agencies because, and I quote, "We prefer to work with artists that have a strong presence and following on Instagram." End quote. Now, obviously, this was horrible to hear for so many reasons. It's never nice to get rejected, but it's even worse when you're told no because of a number. They hadn't said no because of my designs. I'd actually got some really lovely feedback about my work from all of the agents, but the low number shown on an Instagram page stopped them from looking any further. If they had looked, they would see that not only do my designs transfer well onto products, I mean, I am a product-based business after all, but the products that I make with my designs on sell really well, despite my small Instagram following. Being told no purely based on the fact that I have a low number on Instagram changed how I thought about the whole system entirely. I don't want to be judged purely on a number, especially on a number that can be so easily manipulated or that can even be bought. I want to be judged on my ability, on my creativity, on my work ethic, on the care and detail that I put into my work, on the time and energy I spend making my products, or how I strive to make my customers happy instead of an algorithm. All of these things are way more important to me than a number, and I don't want to be part of any business that puts a number above these values. I've left Instagram because I want to stand up for the fact that I'm worth more than a number. I've put in more time, more work, more everything into my business, a business that I am so proud of, and that number will never represent that. My small business, with its tiny Instagram following, made it through COVID. There are some large multi-level companies that can't even say that. So we need to stop judging businesses and people based on this number an algorithm gives you. And that's why I've chosen to quit Instagram. If you've been struggling with Instagram, or if you can relate to anything I've mentioned in this video, then please let me know in the comments below. I love sharing the workings of my creative business, even the downsides, and I think it's really important to address these issues and start having conversations about them. Thank you so much for sticking with me to the end. I really appreciate you, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Thanks guys. Bye.